Please watch. I beg to mention item number 9. I pray for 2 weeks' time, Your Lordship. This conducting counsel is not keeping well.
On pre-made by the petitioner. This is matter after 2 weeks.
Applied, Your Lordship.
May I please, Your Lordship, I beg to make mention of the part 2 of the hearing, this item number 10 and 11, Your Lordship. We are supposed to have the bullet point of argument, but we could not prepare, so another 10 days may be given to Your Lordship. Item 9, 10 and 11. Friendship Marak and this.
Yeah, for the state.
For the state, yes, Your Lordship.
How long?
10 days time, Your Lordship.
One week then, and we can do it in 1 week.
We are ready for submission of the written argument. Lordship fixed the matter today. I don't know whether my friend and other respondents.
Yes, ask for
petitioner.
I'm asking.
Then let the matter be called up.
Yes, yes.
Please, Your Lordship, I beg to mention item number 1 to 7, Your Lordship. The conducting counsel needs some more time, Your Lordship, in order to prepare the matter.
I think time and again, the court has requested the party to take up this matter.
Yes, Your Lordship. But even the assistant counsel, sir, Your Lordship, is not keeping well, Your Lordship.
2018 matter. These are all connected matter.
Lordship, yes.
And it's already part heard.
It's part of the matter.
Long time back. Long time back.
Then you have to start again from the beginning. And it becomes very, see, again, I will repeat this, it becomes very awkward for the court, the parties. You can't expect me to remember whatever has been submitted to 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Accommodation has been sought for on behalf of the Learned Senior Conducting Counsel for the petitioner, seeking adjournment on the ground of his inability to appear for the court today. On premier, the same is allowed. Let's just matter after 1 week.
Apply.
Sure.
Yes,
Do
Lordship.
it.
Similar prayer for item number 12 as well, Your Lordship.
Then there's nothing left for this court to. Therefore,
Respondent, Your Lordship.
yes, Mr. Secretary.
To say, Your Lordship, let it be one more time. For at least let it go for 3 weeks and let them have plenty of time to prepare also. It comes almost every week or every 2 weeks.
On claim made by the respondent seeking accommodation in this matter on the ground that the Learned Senior Conducting Counsel. This is state, isn't it? You appear on behalf of the state.
Yes, Your Lordship.
In what capacity?
They are special counsel.
You also here, Mr. Dr. Moses?
Senior counsel has been appointed as special counsel in this matter.
Special counsel.
Lordship. There's a notification.
They are not senior special counsel. Special senior counsel or senior special counsel.
Special counsel.
He is a senior, so you have to acknowledge him.
Special counsel.
So, I special counsel, no? Dr. N. Musica, being unable to appear today, same not objected to by the petitioner. That is adjourned. Let's say after 3 weeks.
Oblige. Achha.
Lordship, we have just received the complete copy of the brief, item number 8, Your Lordship.
Yes, so
We have just now received the complete copy of the brief, Your Lordship. Let the matter be come up after 1 week, Your Lordship. We are for the respondent number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, Your Lordship.
what is this case about?
Lordship, this is regarding appointment, and on the last occasion, my lord, my learned friend was newly appointed on behalf of certain respondents. I believe she has just received the brief.
School matter?
Lordship?
School matter? Or
No, it's regarding appointment, my lord.
appointment where?
In the Garo lecture.
Oh, that case. But the state has to respond. Who is for the state?
I'm appearing for the state. We have filed our
Affidavit pleadings are all complete, my
affidavit,
lord.
we have annexed those documents with regard to this subject expert.
Yeah. So you are appearing for respondent,
Yes.
private respondent.
Yes, Your Lordship.
How are they involved in the matter?
They are the selected candidates.
Or they are the selected candidate? Oh. But even then, their case could have been taken up by the state. Who is the appointee? Is the state. Appointing authority. Appointing authority is the state.
No, in for this interview,
Oh, college.
the MPSC, the MPSC sent a requisition request from the department, and the department and depute one expert in the interview.
Yeah. So the interview is conducted by MPSC.
MPSC, yes.
And the MPSC has no power to question the expert deputed by the state also from any department, because they select the expert the states used to select.
So now it comes back to the state
Yes.
as to whether the appointee is a competent one or not.
Their case is that the
So in
subject expert is not competent.
yes, in that case, then this you see, in that case, you see, it's a straightforward case.
Yes, yes.
Only
Either you are qualified or not.
Yes.
If you are qualified, then you are entitled to be there in the board. If not, so
The petitioner case is that
only
the
by way of
subject expert is
consequential
not
relief, my lord, they have been put as respondents, because if eventually, my lord,
we'll hear the matter.
Lordship, 1 week.
No, start, do it today. Let them reply, and then if required, we'll see. Otherwise, it's just 2017 matter. We cannot just linger on like this. So the matter we call up.
Item number 8.
Lordship, the conducting counsel for the respondent is not keeping well, Your Lordship.
The state is there. Let the state reply first. Then, if required, you can do it on next day, on Monday, perhaps.
Yes, Lordship.
May I please, Lordship? Hey, my lord, briefly, what has happened, my lord, was certain posts, my lord, 10 posts, around 10 posts to the post of Garo lecturer, lordship, were advertised by the respondents for appointment in the government college, my lord. And this advertisement was floated in 24th May 2015. Thereafter, my lord, as per the advertisement itself, the recruitment process was consisting of two tranches, my lord. Firstly, the written examination, and subsequently the personal interview, lordship. Accordingly, my lord, the petitioners had applied, two petitioners, lordship, as well as the private respondents had applied, my lord. And eventually, my lord, the admit card was issued and the recruitment process was carried out, lordship. My lord, at the first stage of the written examination, the petitioners were successfully declared as passed candidates.
How many petitioners are there?
Lordship, there are two petitioners, my lord. Two petitioners. Two petitioners, lordship.
Can they jointly file a petition?
No, because the grievance is the same and the cause of action is also the same selection process. My humble submission, my lord, they are not taking any contradictory stance against each other, nor is there any objection from the same cause of action, my lord, the same recruitment process.
And what is the number of vacancy?
10 posts were advertised.
Lordship, in brief, I'll explain, Your Lordship. There were under the notification, there were 10 posts.
And who are you?
I'm the one who had successfully been declared and selected and been appointed. Now the simple case here is that, Your Lordship, is that there was an advertisement for 30
So let me say, that's his case.
Your Lordship, the thing is that, Your Lordship, they have what to say, they participated in the selection process. After they participated, they failed. They were declared unsuccessful. Then they've come now to challenge.
That will be, you see, that will be a question of law and precedent.
Your Lordship,
So we look into the,
that's on the
we look into the
maintainability.
related authorities.
Lordship.
This, the facts has to be clear.
Facts.
Lordship. So, my lord, as I was saying, my lord, the petitioners, as well as all the private respondents here, my lord, they qualified through the written examination, and they were selected, my lord, and called for appearing in the interview. Till such point of time, my lord, there was no discrepancy as to the selection process. Once the interview was scheduled, lordship.
Can you just point out to the advertisement?
Lordship will kindly have, my lord, page 31 of the writ petition. Page 31, lordship, annexure 4.
So petitioners have responded to this. Please continue.
Lordship, at page 31, Lordship will find the advertisement of 24th of March 2015, my lord, at the top. The date is mentioned.
Yes.
At point number 1, my lord, at bold, name of the post, Lordship, lecturer in Garo in Government Colleges of Meghalaya, 10. Pay scale so and so. So and so. Lordship will kindly see the qualifications of the second sentence. Candidates must have at least second class master degree in Garo with honors in the subject at the degree level. To be eligible to opt for UGC scale, candidates must score 55 marks at master degree level, relaxation of 5 marks, and so on, my lord. So there is no dispute, my lord, that we are qualified, and as well in terms of the educational qualification as well as the age limit, lord. Accordingly, my lord, the petitioners applied for the post and the selection process continued, my lord. Firstly by a written examination and then by a interview. When the interview was, my lord, called, the grievance, lordship, all the petitioners as well as the respondents participated in that interview. And eventually, my lord, it was found in that interview itself that, my lord, the subject expert. But before that, my lord, the interview committee consisted of 4 members. 3 members were from the MPSC, lordship, and 1 was a subject expert. There was no other person there.
But and that is usually the norm.
Usually there are 2 subject experts under UGC, my lord. So as to maintain a.
But it's not a hard and fast rule, isn't it?
It's not. Usually there are 2. So this particular interview committee consisted of 4 members, my lord. 3 from the MPSC and 1 from the. 1 being the subject expert, as nominated by the government. Now, our grievance, Lordship, is pertaining to this subject expert, Lordship. Upon appearing in the interview, we came to learn, my lord, that this subject expert who had come for the interview board, who is respondent 6 here, my lord, did not have any educational qualification pertaining to the Garo subject. And in such circumstances, Lordship, we have immediately represented before the Lordship the MPSC by way of Lordship a representation.
So what, Mr. Dev, what are the criteria laid down, for a person to qualify as a subject expert?
I'll just come to that. Hey, my lord, we had filed an RTI, so as because none of the respondents also had given very categorically that this is the qualification which is required. They said, my lord, that the particular subject expert had enough experience in Garo, so there was no ambiguity. In pursuance, my lord, we filed an RTI before the MPSC as well as before the government. And in reply, my lord, the MPSC stated that the concerned department, which is the government department, my lord, they depute a senior lecturer, and the MPSC has nothing to, my lord, say in that regard. Whereas in essence, my lord, it appears that there is no such fixed criteria on paper, at least we are not aware of, my lord.
So as far as this particular case is concerned, the criteria would be only a senior or experience? No,
A senior lecturer.
Lecturer.
A senior lecturer.
So that's it.
Lordship. Now, but on the other hand, my lord, it is, my lord, it is well known that all these government colleges, be it government or otherwise, they are all under the UGC norms, my lord, which is the parent body for all universities. And under the UGC norms, my lord, there is a certain criteria, a spelled out criteria for these posts. Under the UGC norms, my lord, for the assistant professor, the selection process has to have 2 subject experts. However, here, my lord, there is no such rule for the specific college or by the specific department. But at the end of the day, my lord, they are well covered under the UGC norms, which says there has to be 2 subject experts.
Are the UGC norms mandatory?
UGC norms are the guiding, my lord, the guiding guidelines to the...
So guidelines are guidelines.
Lordship.
You may follow it, you may not.
Lordship, yes. So, my lord, at page 42, if kindly Lordship has page 42.
Yes.
Page 42, Lordship kindly has the type copy is in the next page, my lord, at 43. Lordship will kindly see immediately after the interview process we have written to the, my lord, the MPSC. If I may read, my lord. With reference to the subject cited above, we the undersigned would like to inform you as per notification number so and so dated 6th May 2016, the undersigned were declared qualified for appearing in the personal interview for the post of lecturer in Garo subject in the Government College, Meghalaya. The undersigned appeared for the selection board members for personal interview on 26 June 2016. The board members comprised of 4 members, out of whom 3 were members of the MPSC, and 1 Srimati Bharati B. Sangma was empaneled as the subject expert. After the interview, the undersigned on the very next day came to learn that the expert, namely Srimati so-and-so, qualification is MA Economics, and she does not possess requisite qualification in Garo subject for her to be empaneled as an expert member in the said interview board. Since the expert was not authorized to be empaneled as an expert, therefore a fresh personal interview of the candidates by a proper interview board including adequate number of members from the field of Garo subject. So, my lord, the selection interview was held on 26th of June, and immediately on 29th, after confirming her qualification, we have represented to the MPSC saying, my lord, that the subject expert who was part of the interview panel did not have the requisite qualification because she did not have any educational testimonial pertaining to Garo subject, my lord.
Interview was held on 6.
On 26th of June, my lord, 2016. Pursuant thereto, my lord, on the next page at page 44, Lordship will kindly see that the notification was issued by the MPSC, and 10 candidates, my lord, were recommended for appointment, and the petitioner's name was not part of these 10 candidates, Lordship. And finally, my lord, at page 45, my lord, the government had given its recommendation to 9 amongst those 10 candidates. And I believe, my lord, they are serving in the said posts till date. Now, my lord, my humble and respectful submission, my lord, very briefly, is that, my lord, once an interview is called for a particular subject, appointment for lecturer in a particular subject, lordship, in a government college, the educational qualifications of the candidates who are allowed to apply, my lord, require a master's degree in the particular subject itself. Now, my lord, the subject expert who is supposed to be selecting.
So now you're saying that that is the criteria. That it has to be a postgraduate.
May not be postgraduate or strictly postgraduate or having the same qualification which is required by the candidates, but some educational qualification pertaining to that particular subject ought to be there, my lord. For instance, my lord, if I am advertising a post of Hindi teacher, I cannot call a subject expert who is an expert in mathematics to come and conduct the interview, especially considering that there is only one subject expert and the other members are all MPSC members who do not have the knowledge on the particular subject, lordship. They are there for the other purposes, and that is exactly why, my lord, usually there are 2 subject experts, so that there is a uniformity on the views of the subject experts. Here, my lord, admittedly, the subject expert who was part of the interview board did not have any educational qualification even at the bachelor's level in Garo, my lord. And hence, lordship, it is our respectful submission, my lord, that even if there are no strict norms to the effect, it is but commonplace that a subject expert ought to have certain qualification in connection with that particular subject. Here, lordship is pleased to see that the post was for a Garo subject. The qualifications were for the candidates were a master's degree in Garo subject, and whereas the subject expert was from the economics, had economic educational qualifications, my lord. Now, my lord, in the affidavit filed by the said respondent, by the respondents, my lord, their stand, in short, my lord, is that.
Where is the?
Lordship will kindly see the affidavit filed by respondent number 6 on 17/12/2018, lordship.
Is a person concerned.
Lordship, this is the sixth respondent who was the particular subject expert. And she has, my lord, spoken about her experience and all that. But in essence, my lord, what she is trying to say is that she had experience teaching the Garo subject in Lady King College, but admittedly, my lord, no qualification in the subject. And she also says, my lord, that there is a shortage of Garo persons qualified in the Garo subject because it wasn't their earlier master's degree and all in Garo, and those were much introduced much later, and so on and so forth. So in essence, my lord, what they are trying to say is that the qualification which we say is required for the expert member can be overruled by experience, my lord. Now, my lord, I beg to submit, lordship, that experience, lordship, is on one hand, but here, my lord, the subject expert who is sitting in the interview board may have experience as a teacher, but unless and until she has the basic qualification in that subject, my lord, by way of academic qualification, would she be in a position, my lord, to appreciate the considering this is a Garo subject and not a very generic subject, my lord. It is a very specific subject for Garo. And in such a situation, my lord, whether experience itself would be sufficient to overrule the very fact that she did not have any qualification in that subject whatsoever, lordship. So that is my case, lordship.
Mr. Deb, I think we have to come back to the basic question as to what is or are the norms for a person to be considered an expert, whether it is strictly based on the educational qualification, as you rightly said, or experience could also be a substitute for it, or an equivalent. Or there must be some norms. Otherwise,
lordship will kindly have
even if not by notification, it could be even by administrative
instructions
or instructions.
Lordship.
Those things should
In
have
fact,
been
my
there.
lord, we tried to find out from the MPSC and the government, lordship. We have filed an additional affidavit in such regard as well, lordship. The additional affidavit of 23rd of August 2023, filed by us, my lord. It's a short affidavit, my lord. The date, my lord, I may have mistaken, but
Yes,
it's the last
it's,
additional affidavit.
23rd of August. Yes. This additional affidavit.
Lordship, yes. A short additional affidavit, my lord. Here, my lord, if lordship kindly comes to page 9 of the said affidavit, which is the last page, my lord. Also, we'll see, my lord, this is an RTI application which we had referred before the PIO of the Secretary to the Government of Meghalaya Education Department.
Yes.
Lordship, two categorical questions were put, my lord. At question number 1, is there any notification, circular, order, etc. for the composition of the interview board for the post of lecturer in government colleges in the state? If so, kindly provide the copy of the same. And 2, my lord, what are the qualifications required for a person to be empaneled as subject expert in the interview board for the post of lecturer in government colleges in the state, my lord? And in pursuance thereto, lordship will kindly turn back to page 6, my lord. This is the reply, my lord, given by the MPSC after it was forwarded from the department to the MPSC. They reply, my lord, that in reply to question number 1, they say, my lord, the commission is the recruitment body appointed by the government as per Article 320, which I believe, my lord, is slightly misconstrued as to the question which I asked. And apply to they say, my lord, concerned department normally deputes a senior lecturer for assisting the commission in the interview. What essentially ought to have been done, my lord, was the department ought to have clarified. Instead, they have forwarded to the MPSC, and the MPSC has said that whatever the department says, we will. So that is the position, my lord. It is for the state to come up with certain circulars or orders or some norms, or even by way of common practice, whether what is the criteria that is required to be followed. Lordship.
The only thing, Mr. Deb, if I can understand correctly,
Lordship.
is for the government to come up with a specific, notification or instruction depicting the qualification of such a member.
Lordship, yes.
Number one. Number two, in the absence of such a circular or notification, they would have usually gone by or go by precedents.
Lordship.
So, and perhaps this is the precedent that was followed, that usually a senior lecturer is, without specifically qualifying the the position as to whether that person is qualified or not,
Lordship.
whether she or he has the requisite qualification for the subject matter.
Lordship.
So in that way, it's a very vague situation.
Very vague situation. But my humble submission would be, my lord, this senior lecturer which they mean to say ought to have some qualification in the particular subject matter. Because otherwise the UGC guidelines provide.
That would be your viewpoint.
Lordship, yes. Lordship. Because
We'll
even
have to look at,
under
like
the,
I said again, we have to look at the practice.
at the practice, my lord. If they can show that these interviews are conducted in this manner, then possibly.
Exactly. And that would be for the state and the PSC to qualify. Mr. Novi, as far as you are concerned, you are one of those appointees.
The successful candidate,
So-
appointed candidates.
Until and unless if the court decides that the petitioner succeeds,
Only then.
then it will affect you. But according to me, I think that is the only moot question to be decided
Lordship.
as to what are the qualifications and whether those norms have been laid down or whether there is a practice.
Lordship.
Yes, Mr.
Lordship, please, Lordship. Lordship, in the RTI application, Lordship, the information sought is regarding the qualification of a person to be impaneled as a subject expert in the interview board for the post of lecturer in government colleges, Lordship. And the reply we have given is at page 6. The reply is in serial number 2. The concerned department normally depute a senior lecturer for assisting the commission in the interview. The reply, it has been given. The reply.
See, Mr. Khanvi, this reply is very big. The reply is, it's a
Senior
whatever.
and from the
Now,
concerned department.
as I have said earlier,
Yes.
you have to satisfy this court as to what was the practice usually followed. Is there any guidelines? Is there any norms specifying the qualification of a subject expert? Whether it is incumbent upon you or incumbent upon the MPSC to lay down those norms.
Yes. The practice is that, Lordship, the MPSC issued a requisition application to the department to depute one subject expert in the interview.
True.
So in the department in turn will depute one subject expert to the interview.
What is the basis for your selection?
Selection is seniority, and he should be a person who's having the knowledge in that subject.
And who decides that? Where is the specific notification for that?
That one, I think it must be.
There must be
MPSC must be having that.
either it's part of the government policy, or it's departmentally done. Whatever the case may be, please you clarify on that, because the whole case hinges on that. If you can, as Mr. Deva said, if you can satisfy this court that yes, the expert was appointed as per the normal practice, as per the norms, as per the principle followed by. So you do that not by way of EC. You are referring to this RTI reply, which
that part I have understood, Lordship. But the contention of this petitioner is that this subject expert is not a qualified
Exactly.
member in the interview.
Exactly.
But-
Therefore, you see, once you have clarified your stand in this regard, then we will determine whether the subject expert is indeed qualified to sit in the interview board or not. Simple as that. Forget about her being not having Garo as a
His case is
academic.
that the
academic
subject expert is from another stream, economic stream.
so that's what you have to clarify on that.
But our case is that
you have
the
to
subject
clarify
expert is Garo
you-
expert.
whatever the case be. We are not talking about this case in particular. Generally, we are talking about, generally, how do you determine who can be an expert? Whether an expert means, as I've said again, I repeat myself, whether an expert means somebody who has qualification in the subject matter, or who is an experienced person, or somebody who has domain knowledge of the subject matter. All those things has to be spelled out. Otherwise, this vague
Your
reply
Lordship
will
wants
not do.
to see whether any kind of
So that's why.
instruction or circular is there or not.
Please do
But
that.
Lordship, in my case, my submission is that this respondent number 6 is a qualified member.
Let's forget about this case.
Yes.
You bring out the government policy one day.
I'll try to find out. I'll try to obtain the instruction.
Please do that.
From the government. And his submission is that the UGC norm prospective members, there's nothing on
Again-
the court, Lordship.
Again,
There's nothing on the
again, as Master Dev has pointed out, as far as UGC norm is concerned, that also can be
It's just
clarified.
a submission, Lordship. Let him bring the norms if it's there.
That is what I wanted to obtain from the department. They forwarded to the MPSC. MPSC is a department.
But if that
We'll
is
also
the
try
case,
to.
if it is on in public domain, you can always get it.
Lordship, yes. We'll get that.
Lordship, may I comment? Lordship, what happened, Lordship, normally in the MPSC, Lordship, for example, like the judicial officer grade or the judicial officer grade 3, we used to send a requisition to the High Court that High Court, from the High Court, they used to depute the expert for interviews. Like there's no criteria laid down, Lordship. Whatever sent, for example, like grade 3, whoever sent from the High Court, we accept as the expert, Lordship. There's no criteria from the High Court or from any department. Like the department itself.
Yes, Mr. Krib, that is understood. If that particular expert is not is not questioned, the qualification is not questioned, then the matter remains. Then nobody will object to such an expert being there. Not only, as you have pointed out, given an example in in such an interview for judicial officers. Not only in that case, in any other interview for that matter. But here we are, since the matter has been has come up before the court, so the court would like to know what are the prescribed norms. They should be. Otherwise, how can you just nobody can just at the whim and fancy of somebody to say that this is an expert and this is not an expert. This person is qualified and this person is not qualified. You cannot just do that. There must be some set of guidance.
In that aspect, Lordship, is that why? Because she was appointed as an expert is because she is an expertise. She has been teaching in Garo lecture for 32 years, and that is why she's been appointed as an expert.
Yes.
That is true, Mr. Nobri. What you said is correct. So the basis for her being there is only because she is qualified.
What is the criteria? What is the qualification? That is not there. But like my learned friend has submitted, like for a post of grade 1 also in district council, where appointments have been made for a judge. What the expert body is that the district council writes to the High Court. The High Court then recommend some expert body who has a fair knowledge about the judiciary. Then only in some case like the past selection process, it was the district judge who was an expert. So in this case, Lordship, though there are no criteria, no rules, but it should be understood that a member who has been selected to be an expert should have a knowledge about Garo. Now this particular lady who has been appointed as an expert, she has been working as a Garo lecturer for 32 years. And Lady Kin
Since
a
1980.
certificate in Lordship, she was a vice principal also, and it's been certified also. She's an associate professor. Your Lordship, the certificates are
Associate
there.
professor in
Garo.
Garo.
In Garo, Your Lordship.
So that means if she qualifies to be an associate
has to
professor,
have a-
so she must have passed. She must have got a basic degree of
Absolutely, my lord.
in Garo language.
Someone sitting for the interview of the district judiciary has
In
to
my
have a
affidavit,
layered
I have
law degree.
appoint-
That
I
is my
have
simple
closed the
submission.
appointment letters.
Affidavits are very
From
clear of the
1984,
state
she has
law.
been
You kindly
appointed
go
as
through the
Garo,
affidavit.
Garo lecturer. From 1984,
1984
she has been appointed as lecturer.
See, we are, as far as her qualification is concerned, as far as her experience is concerned, we are not questioning that. But whether that is only the sole criteria would qualify a person to sit in the interview board of this kind. If that is the case, like again, I'm repeating myself. If that is the norm followed by the government, so be it. It would be accepted. But if your earlier instructions or precedent says otherwise, then that is where the crux of the dispute lies. So you just clarify on that point, and you can also if you can also give a comparative table or study in this regard. If in some cases you have done so, forget about judiciary. We are not talking about. Let's take the post of a inspector of tax or somebody, whether an expert who is appointed in that panel for selection of such person. What will be his criteria?
Yes.
What has been followed?
Your Lordship,
I'll
one
try to
suggestion
see.
I would like to make. As far as this case is concerned, Your Lordship may make an observation that henceforth, for any kind of interview to be conducted, and expert members should have some certain.
No, that you're right.
That henceforth, Your Lordship
Yes.
can pass as directions. But in this particular case, Your Lordship, this case, Your Lordship, is 2016, where the results have been declared. Now, Your Lordship, the petitioners herein has participated in the selection process. And the law is very clear on that. Once you have participated with your eyes wide open, now you cannot turn around and.
That's why you're wrong. It's not.
Appointment also have been issued.
No, participation in the selection process fine, but when the selection process itself is flawed, that has to be.
And
The court has to
secondly,
look.
Lordship must be aware about the recent judgment over appointment of district judges. Now, Your Lordship, the selection process was challenged. It traveled up to the Supreme Court. Now, Supreme Court had laid down saying that now when these people are already working, they're already settled in the services for the past 7 years, more than 7 years. To the question of unsettling them also.
No, you see that is the issue of equitable relief will always be there. Always be there.
That's exactly our case.
But the only thing now we are on a different subject altogether.
I totally understand that, Your Lordship, because as per the submission made by the learned friend, the convention is like that. There's no guidelines. There's no.
So let it come in black and white, and we'll see.
If it's there, I'll place it before you launch.
Either you do that or you file an additional affidavit on that.
Yeah. If it's there, I'll file it.
But do it as fast as possible because this is a long pending case. We cannot do within 1 week. Do it.
You've been working
Let
now.
it be 2 weeks, Lordship.
Yes.
2 weeks, Lordship.
Because in any case, as Mr. Nombri has rightly pointed out, see, the appointees have already been in service for.
They have been appointed.
now,
So they have already acquired a third party right.
substantial right.
So,
They have been appointed. 2 weeks. Let it be 2 weeks, Lordship. I request your Lordship.
2 weeks will be too long.
2 weeks, Lordship. I'll have to communicate the order and then I'll have to discuss also with them. They'll not understand only on the basis of my communication, writing communication. I'll have to tell them also.
You summon the officer concerned.
Yes.
It's not that you have to go to their office and sit at a table.
Yes.
You call them.
Right. Yeah, 2 weeks, Lordship. 2 weeks.
This year.
That's what I was thinking because
Before vacation, I'll try it before vacation. Before vacation, 2 weeks before vacation or 10 days.
But you have to.
Matter should be over by before vacation.
That is why I'm saying 1 week. Otherwise, you see, you could have dragged the matter. But then
1 week or 10 days.
please do it.
Yes.
We will see how. If that is the only issue to be decided, then
That is the only issue.
And plus, they're saying that MA Economics, which is the Lordship, that is misleading.
Misleading.
Already has 32 years of teaching in Garoal. Where did they come from with MA Economics?
but that is also a wonder. how can she be, teaching Garo in any
When she's
court when she is not qualified, she has not passed.
yes.
As Mr. Das has rightly pointed out, you see, a person who passed a degree in mathematics can be made to teach Hindi.
Hindi or Garo or
And if somebody has been allowed to teach Hindi for 32 years,
Example that was
Yes.
cited by my learned friend.
and that too holding the post of vice principal.
something should. That's why you have to. Who is appearing for respondent 6? What do you have to say for yourself?
Your Lordship, prior to during the 1980s, there was no MA in Garo. So those who held MA in Garo had to have Garo on the degree level, but MA in other subjects.
Do you have
There's an
do you have
exemption
Garo
also,
as a degree? Have you passed your degree in Garo?
Yes, Your Lordship.
You have passed.
yes.
You have.
Passed Garo.
Have you
There's an
annexed?
exemption also by the.
No. Have you annexed your certificate?
Everything is there, Lordship. There's an exemption also, Your Lordship, by the UGC
What happened
for subjects of Mizo, Garo.
MA Garo it came up in the memory part only 1996.
1996, Your Lordship.
You are respondent. Oh yes. Mr. Dev has pointed out this, but then what exactly have you said?
Paragraph 10.
Nowhere does it say, Milord, that she has a bachelor degree in Garo.
But the only thing is as far as her competency in Garo is concerned, I think this court cannot question her credentials. How she's got it, how she.
My only humble submission
Because
is, Milord,
if that is not the criteria, then
absolutely, because that is the only issue, Milord. What is the criteria? Once that is clear, there is no question of further arguments also, Milord. Lordship
Yes,
has
because
understood the issue well.
because as far as her experience is concerned, I don't
I
think
am
we can
not on
doubt
the
that.
experience, Lordship.
She
My
has been
only
allowed.
thing is,
She has been allowed to be appointed as a lecturer in Garo.
Lordship. No,
Whether
that
she
was-
knows
that
Garo
was
or
the-
not, we don't know.
Absolutely. If my only humble submission is when the interview was conducted, or as on that date, if there was a certain criteria
I think Mr. Harmi, I think your reply would be
Yes,
would be relevant.
I'll do it.
Please do that.
I'll do it.
There's Deb, counsel for the petitioner. On conclusion of his argument, Mr. H. Harmi, senior additional senior GA, has submitted that on a pointed query by this court, as far as the criteria laid down for a person to be qualified as an expert in a particular subject to sit in the interview board or a selection process conducted by the MPSC. The required norms in this regard may be allowed to be sought for by way of seeking instruction from the department concerned and way of seeking instruction in the department concerned, and for the same to be produced before this court by way of an additional affidavit. On such prayer being made, the same is allowed. List this matter for filing of the said additional affidavit which should be done so within the next date fix, and the matter to be posted for further hearing on such date. So we'll list it on 22nd.
27.
Second.
27 is a
That's
holiday.
22nd. That's 2022. 22.
Oh, yeah.
Lordship, if I may pray for 24th or 28th, my lord, 22nd, I have.
28. 28.
We'll not take any.
List the matter on 28th.
Obliged, Lordship.
Item number 10.
Yeah, Mr. Have you been heard in this matter?
This matter has already been heard.
Mostly led by Senior Counsel Mr. Sangreso, and I had also just pointed out because otherwise the issue is more or less the same.
Okay.
Goes from
Oh,
the
yes.
same order,
So,
the same
because I forgot about it, but then I thought that you would make your independent argument.
more or less this. On
But
the
you
same
have
time.
no, but you have
The
done.
argument is concluded. The argument has been concluded. We have to file written submission.
Written submission.
Have you done so?
Lordship, ours is ready. It's ready,
No,
Lordship.
that's as far as the government is concerned. But from petitioner's side, have you filed?
Lordship, we are not yet to file. It's ready, Lordship. But then if
What
they are
about
not
you,
filing
Mr.
today,
I have
we
a
also.
similar prayer, my lord, because it's under preparation.
Within 3 days, we will also file it. Within 3 days.
But it come up with 22nd, my lord.
Lordship, they will submit it at the same time, Lordship. Ours is also it's
Have
ready,
you given
Lordship.
them a
as of
copy?
today. Is it? If
Give them a copy.
They are the petitioner, so I think it will be.
Lordship, we will file on the same day together, Lordship.
What I would suggest, my lord, that time and again we have heard. this
Because
matter.
yes,
let-
Lordship. So
let all the parties
submit on the
Lordship
same
may
day.
reserve it for that.
Exactly.
I don't think another hearing would be.
Fine. So we'll do that. Learned counsel for the parties have submitted that the written argument could not be filed today and has sought for some more time for the same to be filed. As prayed for. This is matter to 1 week. So by the today is 16th. So by 22nd, 24th you should do it.